Hey, good evening. It's Josh here for another episode of Hey Josh, What You Drinking Live, Thirsty Thursdays on Connect TV and on YouTube and on Facebook, on Twitch. Thanks for tuning in. So usually, I on a Thursday, Thirsty Thursday, Hey Josh, What You Drinking Live, I will do a talking segment, 15, 20 minutes, and then I will stop and review a beer. Today, I'm going to talk and review a beer because today's topic is how to review a beer reviews. There are many, many websites, apps, and all the rest that are how would you say, consumer based, where you and I put in our reviews and our impressions of beers. Um, Untapped is a popular one that I use quite a bit. You can friend me on there. I am original Joshua J, as I am on Facebook and the other socials. Um, what is I know Beer Advocate is a website that's been around since the mid '90s, and that's really where I began with the reviews, putting in reviews. I haven't on Beer Advocate for a very long time, but it is a great source. Beeradvocate.com is a great source for reading about, learning about beer, brewing beer culture around the world. There are different subsections based on countries and even types of beer and such like that. Those are my favorites. Untapped and Beer Advocate. Um, Untapped's the app you carry around on your phone and open it up and make little notes about the beer you've been drinking and read about what other people think about it. So, but as I said, Beer Advocate's been around since the mid '90s, and I used to, in the past, put a lot of time and effort into putting my own reviews there. And I'm not sure, but I think they kind of invented the the 5-star rating system that well Untapped uses. But for a long time, it was just uh, drink a beer, say what you like about it, and then rate it out of five. But Beer Advocate, probably in the mid-teens, actually had a very good article about how to objectively make a review, which is funny because reviews are completely subjective. But anyway, so I'm not a professional beer judge, right? So I just really like beer. I guess we would say a beer aficionado. So when I review a beer, I do not judge. I tell, I give you my impression. I tell you what I like, what I disliked, and what I like and what you like may be drastically different. So taste is subjective. Uh, try not to be influenced by others' opinions. Uh, Marketing, just because the commercial tells me that I should love this because I'm a certain type of person. Um, Everyone has different tastes and preferences, and frankly, a lot of people just figure that their reviews are pointless. What's the point of reviews? I'll drink what I like. Leave the reviews to the geeks. Um, However, I think documenting the experience will help me learn more, and maybe I can pass a little bit of that along to you. Uh, as someone who worked in food service and cooking, and I was a cook and a chef for a long time, I think it actually helped me to train my palate and broaden my flavor, aroma vocabulary. I think so, anyway. I don't know. what else? Um, as I said, the first place that I ever started doing reviews outside of my own little notebook was beeradvocate.com. And if you're a beer lover, if you're a beer aficionado, I think Beer Advocate is the best to go and look at other reviews and see what people are saying. Um, yeah. So since we're here talking about beer reviews and doing beer reviews and reviewing beers, uh, I'm gonna just gonna walk us through a beer review and tell you what I'm doing. Um, so like Beer Advocate and like Untapped and like several of the others, I I go on the 5-star system. But I'm going to tell you something about that later. No, I'll tell you something about that now. When I'm reviewing a beer on, I don't do any. I haven't done any on Beer Advocate for a long time because you have to put a rating in. What I really like about Untapped is you don't have to put a rating in. You can just put your notes and say what you liked and didn't like and leave it unrated. Now, there's a reason for that, and I'll get to that later. So anyway, let's get to. Oh, I'm going to go back to the 5-star rate. So I'm going to out of five. Let's start at one. 1 out of 5 is terrible. Ugh. Okay, anything, and I will go from like 1.5 to one. Any one and under, ugh, don't bother. Two, no, pretty bad. Three, okay. 3.5, good, good. Four, very good. Five or 4.5, between four, yeah, 4.5, I guess between what's between 4.5 or four and 5, 4.5, like amazing. Now 5, perfect. There's no such thing. There's no 4.5 would be amazing. 5 would be the best thing in the world forever and ever. Oh man, that's it. I would never give a beer a 5-star review unless it was the last beer that I would ever want to drink for the rest of my life. The end. So anyway, let's get to a review. Let's do a review and talk about what I'm doing for review. So for today's review, I have here Ghost Orchid IPA from Bellwoods Brewery in Toronto. This beer is rated on Untapped and Untapped. I didn't check the rating on Beer Advocate. This has a 4.5 on Untapped. So this should be freaking amazing. This should be one of the best beers available. Yum, yum, gimme some. All right. So let's check this out. So what is this? We've got a IPA. Any notes on this we can tell you about? No, brewed and packaged, Bellwoods. Do not age. It's been in my fridge for several weeks. Do not age. Strong beer. It's a 6.3. Water, barley, wheat, oats. Okay, it's gonna have lots of oats. It's gonna be hazy. Yeast, of course, and it doesn't say anything else. From the notes that I've read about this, I'm expecting something pretty amazing. Okay, let's open it up. Take a peek inside. Hey, I didn't splash the computer. Oh wow. Okay, first of all, that smells great. Let's pour this out. Take a peek. Okay, hazy, very hazy. Nice head to it. Carbonation is very carbonaty. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it up. Carbonaty. Okay. So, okay, I need to take a picture for the socials, of course. And we talk talked about this before. You know where to go. TikTok, Facebook, that beer thing.ca, and the rest. And I'll put it, the links. If you're watching on YouTube, the links are all there. Anyway, so the first thing we do, look at this. We look at the appearance of this beer. Describe the beer's color, its clarity, head retention, and what they call lacing. So lacing is when I take a slurp, there's going to be some of the head left on there. So I look at this. What do we? It looks very. It looks. It's very hazy. I mean, not just hazy. It is opaque. There is no. It looks like fruit juice. Is what it looks like. So I would describe this as juicy. Other examples of appearance would be, pale, golden, amber, ruby, uh, brown, and black. Uh, for clarity, would say, well, this is I'm going to say juicy. It looks like fruit juice. Clear, hazy. This is an example of hazy. It could be cloudy if it had bits of turbid and what turbid would be. Well, it was very carbonaty. I might say it's a lively, or foamy, or creamy. Um, so on, I, it's often kind of thought to be unimportant. The appearance, of course, the appearance also depends on the light. Hi. Uh, the glassware, of course, is clean, and that helps with the. Anyway, next thing we're looking for is the aroma, right? Uh, Aroma is the smell of the beer. Take a big honking whiff. I describe what I'm smelling. Right now, I smell the citrusy hops on this. It's got a. It's very citrusy. I'd say this has notes of grapefruit, maybe some pineapple. So other examples of aroma, obviously, would be different styles of beer. Maybe the malts would be roasty or smoky or nutty, chocolatey, caramely, bready, biscuity. You've heard them. You've heard all these terms here before if you watched. Um, Sometimes the aroma, if it's a very strong beer, the aroma of the alcohol might come through. This one, though it's 6.3, I can't smell any alcohol. Um, in some cases, like the smell of the yeast would come through. It would give it kind of a bready, spicy, peppery aromas to it. And others might have like that farmyard funky smell, blankety, medicinal, or plasticky. Those aren't good. So the aroma again, most of what we taste comes from our sense of smell, and this must be no different, right? Another tip is to kind of agitate it a bit. Swirl. I can't right now because my cup's too full, and it helps to like loosen and stimulate the fragrances. It's kind of puts more in your nose. Okay, and then the next portion of reviewing process is taste. Taste it. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? It's to drink it, taste it. Well, I'd have already taken a couple sips, and I knew what I was to expect. When you taste it, you want it to get a good mouthful, and just let it kind of be there. Just let it hit all parts of your tongue, so you can get all the flavors, all the nuances, all the different parts of your tongue. If that's still a thing, I've read different reports now that your tongue doesn't actually have zones, as we learned before. So I've tasted. What would I say? I would say I would describe the taste. I would describe the flavor, which is almost always similar to the smell. So in this case, though, where I said it smelled very citrusy, pineapple-y, fruity, I'm getting much less of that in the taste. So that indicates to me that this is a dry hopped beer. Probably with a lot of hops. So flavor descriptions, as they're often similar to the smell, I would say, do these do the flavors remind me of anything, any like food items? In this case, I would say yes. It reminds. It has the citrusy, grapefruity, pineapple-y, um, the tropical fruits, but also it's got a sweetness to it from the malt. But it's quite diminished from the bitterness of the hops. So it's a nice balanced beer. It does nothing nothing clashes with something else to make it. I wonder what the hell's going on here. This is very nice. Um, uh, Another thing about the taste, though, is the temperature of the beer can definitely affect the taste. Um, Freezing cold, a what they call the icy cold, the cliche of the icy cold, uh, um, dripping with ice from a frosted glass. That just that's just too cold. It numbs your tongue. You can't really taste what's going on in your mouth. So proper proper temperatures are good too. Most beers are great around 4 degrees Celsius up to about 7, or what they would call cellar temperature. I mean, you don't want a hot beer, but you also don't want a freezing ass cold beer. Okay, next in the reviewing process, I would evaluate the mouthfeel. How did that feel in my mouth? What was it like? So I take a and again, just let it be, let it be there, and swallow when you're ready. Kind of roll it around in your mouth. Describe its body, the carbonation, the alcohol of warmth, the creaminess, the astringency of the carbonation, or any other sensations. Um, for example, it could be fat. It could be like really crisp, like a seltzer or something, highly overcarbonated or undercarbonated, right? It could be a very light, like a light lager, or it could be very creamy, almost chewy. It could have a slightly greasy or oily feel, uh, watery, or even kind of some would be, I guess how would you describe as coarse, if it like some of those smoothie type beers. I mean, they still have a lot of the pulp from fruit and stuff in them. So how does it mouth feel? Is how does it feel in your mouth? Is it pleasant? Is it unpleasant? This this is very pleasant. It's got a slightly creamy, not heavy flavor to it. I'm gonna attribute that to the amounts of oats in it. Give a beer a nice creamy mouthfeel, nice sweetness too. That would be the lacing I was talking about. And then lastly, I'm going to describe the overall impression of this. How was it? How was the overall drinking experience? Did I like this? Was it pleasurable? Uh, was it objectionable? Did I like this? Did I hate it? Um, and this is where you just have to be honest and constructive, right? I don't want to. I wouldn't blast it if I hated this. Well, if I hated it, I might tell you I hated it. If I didn't like it, I would just say this one isn't for me. I'm not going to blast it because I know full well that somebody loves this. And again, taste is subjective. I like this. This is good. This is really good. I'm not sure if I would rate it a 4.5 out of 5. I definitely give it a 3 plus, a 3, a 4 out of 5. It's really darn good. I like this a lot. So I'm gonna just look at my notes here. I'm just gonna quickly go over some of the notes that from Beer Advocate where um, some constructive notes on reviewing a beer. Um, this is directly from beeradvocate.com. I've pretty much I've paraphrased the rest of it, but there are some points that I'd like to point out if you want to that I definitely keep in consideration. Uh, Respect beer and brewers. And again, I'm quoting from the Beer Advocate website here. Respect beer and brewers. Behind each beer is a person with feelings and pride. Brewing might be their passion, livelihood, or entire life. Even if you don't like a beer, at the very least, have some respect and be constructive about your criticism. I agree. Scoring all ones or all fives. Rating beer with all ones, no redeeming qualities, or all fives, no room for improvement, should be very rare. Unless I re- Unless a beer is really bad, and I mean bad, it should have at least a two. There should be somebody out there who digs it. Anyway, as I was saying, rating beer with all ones or fives, no room for improvement. It can be a sign of someone abusing the rating system. Uh, two, so consider when writing a review to back up your unusually low or high rating. So if you're going to give it a one, or if you're going to give it a five, be ready to defend that one out of five. Form your own opinion. It's important to be it's important not to be influenced by others when reviewing. Everyone is going to have a different experience, so make sure the opinions you express are your own. Don't allow others to influence you before you review the beer yourself. See, that is one of the things that I made a mistake in this one. I went and read the reviews on Untapped before I opened it. So I had a preconceived notion of what I was to expect, and it didn't live up to that preconceived notion. This is really good. Is it a 4.5? I don't think so. keep style in mind. Okay, we don't expect everyone to judge like a pro. I'm definitely no pro. But keeping the beer style in mind will help you approach each beer a little more objectively, right? So what I'm saying there is, what I'm saying there is, you know, as anyone who's watched the show before knows that although I like hazy, juicy IPAs, they're good. They're not my favorite. Now, would I say this is a bad beer because it's not my favorite style? No, this is a good beer, but I would rather have a brown ale. That's just me. Now, if I had a brown ale that was just crap, would I say this is wonderful beer because it's the style, it's my favorite style? No, I would be objective and say, this is my favorite style, but this is not a very good beer, right? So anyway, overall, I'm going to go back to this beer, the Bellwoods Brewery Ghost Orchid IPA. Uh, Very good. Um, Juicy, tropical, hazy. Well, I wouldn't even say hazy. I would say again juicy. A lot of flavor, a lot of aroma, more aroma than flavor. Tropical fruits, pineapple, citrus. Um, Very much like Five Alive juice. Five different fruit juices in one. Um, Nice mouthfeel, slightly creamy because of the oatmeal. I like this a lot. I really do, and I would definitely buy it again. If I was going to give it a 5 out of 5 star rating, I personally would give this a uh, I'd say 3.5, maybe even what's between 3.75. It is really good. It is pretty great, but it is no perfect beer. There's room for improvement, and I'm not just saying that because it's not my favorite. It's just it's a good beer. Um, I know a lot of people are really crazy about this. It's I'm not sure if it's limited and or uh, seasonally produced. 'Cause I saw that people were excited that it was back, quote unquote back. Anyway, I'm not gonna give it a 5 star out of 5 rating, but if I was, all right. So I hope this was a good experience for you. I like this. I like this format, talking and reviewing at the same time. Um, Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thirsty Thursdays. Hey Josh, what you drinking live on Connect TV, on my YouTube channel. Hey Josh, what you drinking? Uh, on thatbeerthing.ca's YouTube page. All the rest. If you're watching on the YouTube, if you would very kindly subscribe and like. I need more subscribers so I can start doing more things with YouTube. If you haven't, the analytics say that most people haven't gotten this far in the video and the watching to hear me say this, but I'm I'm doing the thing that all the YouTubers that my kids watch are smash that like button, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. All right. So anyway, cheers. See you soon. Tune in for some reviews from the road coming up. There's very special stuff coming up in the next week or week and a half or so. All right. All gone. Thanks everybody for watching and cheers. And beer makes me happy. I hope it makes you happy too. Have a great night.